Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining me. First, let's watch me on the 12th take get my little version of that classic song Georgia. If I'm looking a bit sweaty and slumped in the chair, after 12 takes you get a bit hacked off with the damn thing. However, take 12 was a good one. Let's go. Okay, hope you liked that. We'll break that down at the end, like I often do, for a wee lesson in case somebody gets something out of it. Quick update, what have I been doing? I've been on holiday this week, so I've done a bit of camping. I'm going away to the Lake District at the end of the week. I went to Glasgow yesterday on a bit of a guitar safari, as I like to do. I went to York last month for a bit of a guitar safari, York was disappointing in terms of guitar shops, but Glasgow was fantastic, way better than Edinburgh. I played various amps in Glasgow. I played Tone Master. I've not really played Tone Master amps much. I think I played one before, and I played one yesterday. Nah, maybe it could all just be my mind. I felt there was something missing, but of course somebody who likes valve amps is going to say that. It gets you through the night, a Tone Master. It gets you there. It gives you the Fender sounds. It was a deluxe reverb. But later in the day, I played a real deluxe reverb, and it could all be in my mind. But I felt there was a layer of extraness in the real deluxe reverb. I also played a £2,600 for a Tone King Imperial. And it's the kind of amp you would buy, because it would be hand wired, I would imagine, and it was lovely, Fender voiced, but it wasn't quite as nice as a Fender in terms of the sound. The Fender sound is really, that's where I'm at. That's why I keep playing that Daft Twin. I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis with that amp. I can imagine the neighbours all saying, do you know, Paul Cook from across the road, he's been unfaithful to his Cornell, and he's gone out with this hot thing with long legs called the Fender Twin, and it's going to ruin him. It's going to financially bankrupt him. It's just a fling. It's never going to last. It's going to break. But just whenever I play it, this is the sound. You can keep your Tone King Imperials. No, that's the amp I would buy. I'd buy something like that, or I love my Cornell. Somebody said I should sell my Cornell and put the money towards repairs to the Fender Twin. No way am I ever selling my Cornell. That's my amp. But I'm having a great time with this Twin, as you can see. Anyway, the Tone King Imperial was great, but it's not, it'd have to be as good as the Fender sound, if not better, for me to want to get something like that. Not that I can afford it anyway. What else was I playing? Some cheaper, more affordable Telecaster style guitars. Reverend, played Reverend guitars. Not for me, nice enough guitars, but you know, I hate slim, unwelcoming necks. It wasn't for me at all. I got a great question from a viewer the other day, and I was scared to answer it because it would make me sound like a real snob, and I hope you don't think I'm a snob. It says, can you tell me the difference you notice between your heavy relic and, let's say, a Mexican Telecaster? We'd like to hear it from someone who is good. Thank you very much, first of all, for the compliment. And my reply, I was trying to be as honest as I can. And so here I am holding the custom shop, and I did play the Ventera and another more affordable Mexican Telecaster. And it was a bit like the Tone Master. It gets you through the night. It gets the job done, these affordable guitars. But oh my God, no, they're completely empty for me in terms when I hold them. They get you through the night. They do the job, but they're not for me because I've been spoiled. And it could all be in the mind. And I said that was my answer. I said 50% of my answer you can just take with a pinch of salt, because it's my mind has been brainwashed by my heroes. Buchanan, Gatton, Arlen Roth, Albert Lee, Campolongo, all these Telecaster players who all played the real deal, the Telecasters from the 50s and the 60s, and they come with their dings and scratches and whatnot. And so the nearest I can get to that is what my budget allowed at the time. It allowed me to get this. And so that fulfills the dream. And so when I hold this, I can pretend that I've got something incredible. And I believe there's been a lot of time put into this. Little things like the rolled edges are just gorgeous. The detail on the relicing on the neck, everything just feels comfortable. Whereas these more affordable guitars, I've got glossy necks like a toffee apple, and everything just feels like it's been dipped in gloop and come out all shiny, and it's just not welcoming for me. But that could be because I'm being spoiled. Then just as I think I'm sounding like a horrific snob, let's go up to the next level, the level that I'll never reach, which is people like Tom Bukovac rarely plays anything that isn't vintage. So he would kind of look down on this and probably wouldn't be seen dead with something like this. So it's amazing how it's all relative. I'll never be able to afford a vintage guitar. So I can pretend that this is the real deal. And it's something that goes on in somebody's mind. So I could be talking absolute baloney for you. If you can see through all this bullshit that I cannot see through, then yes, the Mexican Telecaster is for you, because it does the job. I did play a guitar, a £4,500 guitar the other day in my local shop in Edinburgh. Fender are doing this run of guitars called double Esquires. They're high quality guitars. Well, they didn't feel as nice as this, but they've got the original, I think very original wiring, and they've got the blend control, and oh God, it was rubbish. Didn't like it at all. Anyway, I've done enough babbling now. Let's get on with the breakdown. Right, when I watch these great guitar players demoing guitars, particularly Tobias, we'll talk about Tobias since he's the guy I watch most. He will set the scene just on his own with his guitar with no backing, and he's playing lead that either looks incomprehensible and you think, where are you going? Because it's not normal blues pentatonics or whatever. Or if you're switched on, you're thinking, all right, he's referencing chords. I wonder if the loop that he's going to click on with his foot in a minute is going to be those chords. And of course, surprise, surprise, it is. So he's just setting the scene, and that's what I was doing here with my initial bits of lead. I didn't copy Tobias this week. This is all mine, I'm pleased to say. I'm sure if Tobias was watching, he might be even proud of me that I didn't copy him. But I'm definitely copying the concept. So I'm just playing as each chord moves. Let's say it goes to A minor. I go into my toolbox and I might play A minor, just the chord, but struck with individual notes. Or I might play a lick that I know works across A minor, that maybe throws in some 6 notes or whatever. Just tricks that I've learned over the years. And then when the chord changes again, I might do the same for the next chord. But if I'm really clever, I'll try to play the changes by playing a lick that takes me to that next chord or lands on a particular note that is either wrong, depending on how you look at it, or just perfect because it sets the scene. For example, I think I've lost a picture there. Here. So that's clearly C. So I've played the changes there. So lots of little examples of that. And as you watch me, you're either thinking, he knows a lot of scales, but I'm not really straying from either my major pentatonics or my minor pentatonics. But what I'm doing that makes it sound not like either of these particularly is I'm just, if you look at me carefully over a certain chord, you think, he's just playing licks based around that chord. And he's trying to cleverly join the chords up. So that's all I'm doing. That's my mindset with this. So here's a few things specific to what I was doing. Right, chords first of all then, right? C down to E7, A minor, then with A minor with a G bass for a walk, to start a walk down, D7, voiced like that, F minor, voiced like that, so I get that chromaticism, is that the word? Back to C, down to A7, D minor 7, or whatever you want to play it, to the 5, G, down to E7, then to this chord here, which I think kind of functions like an A minor, but it looks more like a convertible G chord, and that would be from a G chord, that would be from a G chord. And although I keep saying G chord, I don't see it functioning in any way like a G chord. It's more like that would be an A minor 7 perhaps. That would be a 9 note on the A, I guess. And then the B and E strings if you wanted to analyse it. But I see it as functioning over some sort of A minor type thing. To then take me to the D minor 7 to then go to the 5 chord, which would be G7, or spice it up a little bit with an augmented chord. Let's go through what I was doing then. So, there's a classic example of me just playing a C chord, but playing it in such a way as to grab your ear. Then I'm going to play the changes. So I've gone to an E7. Here's exactly what I did. Then I've gone and just played the cop out by playing easy stuff. Just playing the chords, then voicing that like that and giving it a bit of vibrato. Then while we're still nuancing F minor, that's an example of a lick where I'm still just playing F minors. But I know lately, especially, I love to reference this E minor, or this, in this case, F minor 6 note. minor lick, but with that 6 it just makes all the difference. Then what did I do? I mean, couldn't be simpler. We're going back to C. See, I'm just playing the chord. Don't think of it as pentatonics or minor pentatonics. I'm just playing the chord, but now I'm going to play the changes with one strike of the guitar. There you go, played the changes. How do you play the changes, Paul? There's the question answered. What that was simply the chord, the band going to A7. But as every national country picker knows, that type of thing. I'm just taking that chord there, which is A7, and making it A0-7. Then I went, because we're now going to go to D minor 7, I'm going to play a little D minor chord. What am I playing there? Then E7. All that is playing E again. I'm referencing the E chord. But I know that when we're playing E7, is one of my favourite licks to do is to pull your ear in different places. That type of thing that I do a lot. In fact, it's very much like that. That type of thing. Then D minor 7. I'm trying to keep a bit of the chord going, you can see that, for sustain reasons. Then to G, to the augmented version. Then that's us turned around now, back to the start. C chord. There's your B.B. King major pentatonic box position. There's your man playing the changes, that's an E7 chord. Then back to E minor. D7, F minor, back to C. Oh, I love playing guitar. At certain moments like that, you think, oh, I love this instrument. Is there anything nicer than playing guitar? All that is C, various C's. There's a C, we all know that's a C. That's just the top half of the same C. Now we're climbing the stairs up C. Straight to A7. I say A7. That would be A7, but by playing, and there's the basic A, but I've taken this up 2 frets to make it a guess. What's that? Does that make it a 9 when you do that? I've added this, taking the root up a tone. Yeah, to give it a 9, that's right, yeah, Paul, of course it's an A9 chord. But I'm only playing select notes, the open A string, the fretted D string and the fretted B string. Then while we're lingering, I'm going to go back to the D minor 7. That's the oldest trick in the book. Just playing D minors, the middle part of the same chord and the top part of the same chords. And I'm really throwing a curveball here. That is a D flat 13, is that right? There's a D flat, there's a D flat, there's a D flat 7, and when you add a 6th note to a 7th chord, it becomes a 13 apparently. So I've just thrown that in because I know it sounds good in that context. Just a tool that was hanging around the toolbox unused, and I felt sorry for it and thought, you're going in there, pal. And then of course, and then click on the loop. Now when I clicked on the loop, will not go into great detail here, just a couple of highlighted moments from it, or we'll be here all day. But clearly I'm influenced by my heroes, Roy Buchanan's and stuff, Arlen Roth and all these players. So I do a lot of that. Just striking the note at 0 and bringing it in violining, I think they call it. Do you like my delay pedal? Paul Cook's homemade delay. So that's all I'm doing there. I like to play near the bridge sometimes and change pickups and position of the hand. I mean, look at the difference in tone here. It's like a different guitar. So I do a lot of that, and of course there's moments where I love to change pickups on the fly so that you go from the, so you can hear it, and I enhance it by going back to the bridge so that it's very obvious, because I always love moments in certain records, like Gary Moore's Still Got the Blues, where he's on the outro and it's all mellow and creamy and gorgeous, and he goes, and you can almost physically hear the pickup being changed, and then he's coming in with the screaming stuff. There's a fabulous moment in Roy Buchanan's After Hours. Just type into Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, After Hours Roy Buchanan. What an adventure that song is. And it goes all mellow and stuff, and then you hear it's almost like a gear change in an old car. You hear the physical sound and that sound that Telecasters give you, that sort of, you can't hear it, that's not loud enough, but when you're at extreme volume you get this clunk, and I just love all that. As you can tell, I'm getting a bit enthusiastic. Calm down, Paul, calm down. So I love all that kind of and then I'm going back to the bridge to enhance the wild, wiry stuff. Then I did a waterfall technique on the last video, and I've just stole it again at some point when this goes back to the 5. I thought, oh, I'll bring that. That's what I mean by having a toolbox. I've got this toolbox full of licks that I can just rummage around, and one of them will always fit. Whatever I did. Love all that Jim Campolongo type stuff. Jerry Donahue as well. Now the last thing I'll show you before I disappear is I've come up with another waterfall lick. We've done this one. This one's over an A minor, going back to D7 to then F. Watch this. So far just the blues scale in A. Now I'm plucking the thin E string. That's a fretted B string but plucking the open E string again. It's a fretted G string on the 5th fret but plucking the open B. A fretted D string on the 7th fret of the D but an open G. Playing the changes, playing the changes again. It's all done with mirrors, eh?